Welcome to another one of Danny's hot takes. This is the second one today, John.
It is. Yep. It is. We're marathoning takes.
Heck yeah. All right. We're doing Psychic Awakening War of the Spider today.
Yes, but the important part of it.
The spider part.
Yes.
Yeah. So we did the war part with the Imperium. Now we're doing the spider. I'm pretty excited about this. So I'm Danny from the Mob Rules Podcast. I'm joined today by my co-host, John.
Hi.
What's up? All right, so we're going to look at chaos stuff today. So we're going to start with some Death Guard, then we're going to move on to some creations of Bile.
It's my favorite 80s Swedish metal band.
It sounds like a medical condition, to be honest with you. And that's fine, because he's the doctor.
Sorry, Spiky.
Hey, watch out for Spiky. Yeah. All right, so first we're going to look at the Death Guard, then we're going to move on to those creations of Bile. Man, John, are you excited about these Death Guard things?
I'm so excited as someone who started frantically painting Death Guard about a month and a half ago. These are some very needed improvements to a very flavorful army.
All right, yeah. So we're going to get into it, but I think that the Death Guard part of it is probably by far the most interesting to me. I think that they have a lot of really cool abilities now, and strong. They're strong now. So
they're the Fecund Legion. It's a lisp. They're not lisp? Second, they're fecund.
Oh, God. Get out of here. They're not even the second. Shut up. They're the 14th Legion. Anyway, so we've got I see what you did there. I didn't even read the top of it.
Yeah, there you go.
The Fecund Legion.
But they're the 14th.
They're the 14th. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so... first we're going to go over their abilities, then we're going to go over they having some new relics. They also have these plague company rules specifically, so you can run a particular plague company and get all the rules associated therein. They get a relic, a warlord trait, and two stratagems. I hope you're ready for this, because this is going to be a crazy one. Oh yeah, and then also there's a boatload of other stratagems as well that they get.
And I'm going to be so excited. I'm going to punch the camera.
God. Yeah, John is so excited. So I like that they called out bolt weapons and plague weapons down here.
Yes.
Because flamer weapons and melta weapons, unimportant. Like, they don't have any special rules that are associated with them, but both of these ones do, because we've got malicious volleys, which is the bolter drill. And then Hateful Assault, which is their shock assault.
Yes.
So now Death Guard officially get those in a capacity printed in the rulebook, which is dope.
That I don't have to print myself from an FAQ.
Correct. Amazing. So the first thing we're going to go over is the new relics that they have. So you have 6 new relics. Actually, so just as a preemptive, I think all of these are amazing. Like, every single one is good.
I like that I don't have to just take the separating plate every time.
I know,
now.
Right? Yeah. Fugaris' helm is also good in some circumstances. That's the additional 3 inches to auras.
Yeah.
That one's pretty good sometimes. But goddamn, these ones are so good. All right. So we have the Og Stone, and that's one that you can give to a Lord of Contagion. Subtract 1 from the strength characteristic of enemy models when their unit is within 3 inches of a model with this relic. That's amazing. Like, first of all, Lord of Contagion's got a lot better in this book.
Yes.
For a couple of reasons. Man, what a good, that's a solid relic, because that increases not only his toughness, but the toughness of any of your other units that are fighting them effectively.
Yeah.
Then you have All Wither, which is a new Bale sword upgrade. So that's like a plague power sword.
This one is amazing in the fact that it ignores invulnerable saves.
How good is that? So it is a power sword. That's a plague weapon. So reroll 1s to wound. And you don't get any invulnerable saves against it. And it's +1 strength and 2 flat damage. So you get a strength upgrade, a damage upgrade, and ignore invulnerable saves for 6 points, plus a relic slot.
I think the only issue with this is only 2 people it can really be given to are the Chaos Lord and the Chaos Lord and Terminator armor.
And the Plague Surgeon.
And the Plague Surgeon. Oh, I didn't even think about that one. I was like, I was thinking about delivery systems of kind of getting him in there.
Right. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, on a Chaos Lord, I think it's solid. Yeah, man, it's good. All right, then we've got Demon's Toll, which this one they previewed, so that's for the Noxious Blightbringer. It gives units within 7 inches a 5-up invul save.
Great.
Amazing. And it's not models wholly within 7, it's units within 7. So the whole unit gets it. So give your Plague Marines Terminator armor, kind of. Let's see here. And then we've got, what is that? The
Epidemicus Blade.
Epidemicus Blade. That's cool. So that replaces a Hellforged Sword. So that's for Demon Prince. And so it gives the following profile. It gives +1 strength, -2 AP, 3 flat damage. So that in itself is exactly the same as the normal Hellforged Sword. However, this one, no. The Hellforged Sword is not +1 strength. The Hellforged Sword is just straight strength.
I believe it's straight strength.
Yeah, so it gets +1 strength, so that's a bonus. It's a plague weapon, so it rerolls once to wound. That's awesome. In addition, when resolving an attack against that, if you roll a 6 to hit, it does an extra hit. So this one is especially good on a Demon Prince because the normal Plague Demon Prince from Death Guard, you can give a Plague Spitter, and he comes with a sword. So if you want to give him the Plague Spitter and the sword, he can now take this sword, which is amazing. I don't know if it's better than Separating Plate for him, but it's pretty darn close. Like, it's pretty solid. I mean, that's a great weapon.
And I'm a big fan of this combined with other things, but especially like Death to the False Emperor, you're now getting 2 attacks for every 6.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Well,
you have to roll for the second one.
And an extra attack. So
but it's still a great thing. And that Death to the False Emperor could then proc another extra hit.
Right.
So like, there's a lot of play of this just octopusing out wounds.
And you can really do a lot of damage with this thing. And 3 flat damage is always good. It makes him strength 8. So effectively gives him a Thunder Hammer. That's a plague weapon, so you're rerolling once to wound. Or all wounds if you have Arch Contaminator around, or he has Arch Contaminator, which is dope. Then you have the Putrid Periapt. So this is for a Psyker model. You know, an extra psychic power, and once per psychic phase, whenever you resolve a psychic power and it goes off, you can heal D3 wounds.
This is great. This is one of my favorites from this because
amazing.
Basically you try and cast Smite once for 5 CP, you get D3 wounds back.
Yep. Awesome. And he knows an extra power too, so it gives you a little bit more utility. Okay, so fair point, John. The Worm Spitter is my very favorite relic in this entire thing. I think it is amazing. So for the first time ever, I am saying that a bolt pistol is the best weapon or the best relic in the entire book. I think it's amazing. Okay,
as long as you're within 12 inches.
15.
15. Oh,
it's got a range boost, baby.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So it's a bolt pistol with range 15, strength 5, -2 AP. Okay. You're like, oh, okay, cool. That's neat. It's a plague weapon. So reroll once to hit. And then if you shoot at a unit, you don't even have to hit. Yeah. If you hit. So you have to hit. So you put this on a like a Chaos Lord, I would say it's probably best choice, right? So you're hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, or if they have a minus to hit, then you're hitting on 3, rerolling. Anyway, you hit the unit. All weapons that fire at that unit count as being plague weapons. So this is huge because you can basically make any weapon in the entire army, and this includes Forge World units, like bolters, like whatever, they all become plague weapons. And then because they're plague weapons, you can combine this with Arch Contaminator, the Warlord trait, and give all units within 7 inches reroll failed to wound rolls against that unit.
Man, Butcher Cannons are looking pretty good on an old Daradeo.
That's so spicy, man. Or Leviathan with twin Butcher Cannon arrays. So he gets 16 shots at strength 8, -1, 2 damage.
Rerolling wounds.
Failed to wound rolls. Pretty good. Worm Spitter. Very cool. There's a lot of synergy with that with a bunch of other things.
The world's best bolt pistol.
It is. It is actually the world's best bolt pistol.
A worm pistol, I guess.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
A worm pistol.
Hey,
all right.
I hear we get some new Death Guard stratagems that just aren't reprints from Chaos Space Marines or...
So we get 14 on this page, right? And then, oh, wait, there's more. How about another 7, John, for a grand total of Nurgle's Sacred 21 different stratagems that you're adding to the already, well, not the already.
Like
they did not have very many stratagems.
There's a spaceship. There's a lot of room in the stratagem closet for Codex Death Guard,
right? Yeah. So not only did they get these 21 stratagems, they also got 14 more extra stratagems for each one of the different plague companies, depending on which one you choose there. Awesome. That's so good because that was one of the major downfalls of that codex was that.
Well, it suffered from being early edition.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Right. So like we're still kind of figuring out where things are going. We're still kind of like all that kind of stuff. So it was good at the time, and there was a couple of like really good builds that could come out of there. But this just gives so much more.
Dude, I know. It's so good. Like, I'm so excited about these. There's so many good ones, too. All right. So let's start digging into these. So we've got Plague Chosen. Plague Chosen basically lets you take a Death Guard character, give them an extra Warlord trait. You can use this one as many times as you want. So you can take as many extra Warlord traits as you need to, which is really cool because you're getting extra Warlord traits for each Plague company. In addition, there's a lot of really good toughness increasing
Basic ones
from the Death Guard Warlord traits.
The only limitation is each one has to be unique. So yeah,
you can't double up, right? Yeah.
But still, I really like that, and it matches a lot of the existing kind of marine stratagems that are coming out, or and a lot of the other psychic awakenings that are kind of showing you all these toys and letting you like use them.
Right, yes. So they're unlocking the ability for you to actually access all of your toys and not be too punished for not having a ton of variety, but with no options to take it. So then you have Harbinger of Nurgle, and so this is for a Lord of Contagion, and it gives him Harbinger of Nurgle, reroll 1s to hit by models and friendly Death Guard units within 6.
Very yes. This was so sorely needed. Just for kind of like a character-wise in my army, like the Chaos Lord is great, and we kind of like have to take him or the Demon Prince to get that reroll bubble.
Tough badass.
Right. And the Lord of Contagion just didn't really do anything. Like he had 1 or 2 tricks, but there was no real need for him.
Right.
Whereas this really, for 1 CP, gives him such a great use.
For sure. Very happy about this. Virulent rounds. So use the stratagem in your shooting phase when you shoot with a Plague Marine unit. Bolt weapons get the following ability: Plague Weapon. And if you shoot them against an infantry unit, if you roll a 6 to wound, unmodified, the AP is -4.
Hey, doesn't that combine really well with the world's best bolt pistol?
No, not really.
Because it turns it into a plague weapon?
Well, yeah, but they're already plague weapons. So this gives all your bolters plague weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you have to, if you shoot, like, so without using the stratagem, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could shoot them with the bolt pistol, and then you wouldn't have to spend the point on the strat because all the bolters would get plague weapon anyway. All that using this
yeah,
would give you
I'm trying to double
-4.
up. Yeah, I'm going to edit that.
But
no.
This is great if you don't have that character within 20 inches or so of the target. And it's great in that you can take like a 20-man Plague Marine squad and just unload bolters, like 40 bolter shots with them, and then get full reroll to wound on them. Because you can just put Arch Contaminator close by, and then they get, anyway, that's really cool. I think that's a great ability. So then we have Soul Harvest. John, you really like Soul Harvest, I think.
I do. It combos really well. Like, I really enjoyed the Demon Prince, the Relic Hellforge Sword. Soul Harvest replaces a Demonic Axe or Hellforge Sword. Until the end of the phase, it adds 3 to the model's attack characteristics. And only infantry units can be chosen as a target of its attacks.
Sorry about that. John's dogs attacked a random passerby, and we had to pull them off of him.
But he did have amazing food. He did. It was good.
Luckily for us, we were able to eat his pizza because he had no use for it anymore.
No. Being a Domino's employee.
I was going to say, because he was no longer consisting of life. We harvested his soul, if you will, John.
Yeah, so Soul Harvest. The reason I really like this is it gives a very concrete alternative to just taking dual claws.
Yes, exactly. That is a great reason to take it. That makes me pretty happy about Soul Harvest. I think that's a really well-written stratagem.
Because, I mean, even if you're using something like the Axe, which never really gets taken, you have that +1 strength, but you are -1 to hit.
Right.
But having those 3 extra attacks.
Solid.
And especially being like strength 8 with the Hellfight.
Strength 8.
So you're going to have those extra attacks killing maybe some elite infantry or wounding on 2s, which is just great. Which is
like you were saying, this combos up really well with the sword too.
Right. So with the sword, it combos up really well. So you have those extra attacks, which you can then proc into extra attacks.
Yep.
And again, with Death of the False Emperor, it's just this little ball of huge attacks.
Murder death.
And I really like just throwing him into a little elite unit of T4 guys with these things here.
Sure.
But anyway, we also have Foul Gush.
Is that one word or 2?
It's one word, like a progressive rock band. Fagoosh.
It's like skadoosh, but with
Vomit
with
instead
vomit,
of
yeah.
Skoo.
Or Bile. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so use it on a Foul Blightspawn. First of all, Foul Blightspawn, one of the best characters in the game. Like,
Beautiful.
I think he's very good. So what this does is it lets you roll for his Plague Sprayer an extra D6 for the number of shots and take the highest. And you get to roll an extra D6 for the Strength characteristic and discard one. So
Taking some of the randomness out.
heck yeah, it makes it
that model.
like evens out that curve, does a little bit of smoothing. So yeah, I think that's really, really powerful. A great ability for a great model.
Indeed.
Yep.
Everyone should have 3.
Agreed. All right, so then we have Relentless Volleys. So this one, use it when a Death Guard infantry unit is chosen to shoot with. Their bolt gun and the bolt gun profile of combi weapons on that unit have a type characteristic of Rapid Fire 2, or if you have combi bolters, they become Rapid Fire 3. So if this unit has more than 6 models, it costs 2 CP. So the way I see this being used,
Okay.
10-man Terminator Squad with combi bolters. Okay, they always count as stationary, so you can shoot. Well, not stationary, but like they don't count as
Right.
moving and shooting for their hateful volleys. So they fire 60 shots, and then you can use virulent rounds on them, and then now they're plague weapons.
Which you keep near your
Arch
warlord with
Contaminator.
Arch Contaminator
Yeah,
to real wounds.
heck yeah. And then any 6s to wound are AP -4 against infantry. I think that's nasty. And you can give them +1 to wound from Death to the False Emperor if you really want to spend 4 CP on that. But that could be that could break some that could definitely break some the back of some armies.
Especially synergize with some of the other Death Guard tactics and
For sure.
reducing toughness and then kind of some of the other tricks they can
Or
do
giving
there.
a +1 to hit.
Yep.
Or yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that you can do. So that's pretty nasty. Then you have Putrid Fecundity. Use this in your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase when a Plague Marine unit from your army is chosen as the target of an attack. If the unit contains 10 or fewer models, it only costs 2 command points. Otherwise, it costs 3 until the end of the phase. When making a disgustingly resilient roll, add 1.
That is a really good stratagem.
Oh, gross. I mean, literally because they're Plague Marines, but also because that is powerful.
But just having this unit of 4+++ models.
Yeah. Or you can combine that with the 5+ invulnerable save, and now you're ignoring. Oh man, that makes them like almost like it makes them significantly harder to get rid of.
I'm really happy that they seem to have a lot of size dependent stratagems.
Yeah, that's good.
Where the scale goes up, so we're not just spending 2 CP in my unit of 20 Plague Marines. All of a sudden, it has like a 2
Correct.
or a 4 up. I feel no pain would be gross.
Yes. So that's really good. I can't wait to see that on the table. I think it's really good with the Plague Surgeon because then you can reroll 1s with it as well. So that's pretty powerful. Or maybe there's some other abilities as well later.
Maybe
on
there's
that might
some
sync up even
tinctures.
better. Yeah. All right. So then we have Trench Fighters, and use this when a Plague Marines unit from your army is chosen to fight with. If they're equipped with 1 or more Plague Knives, they can make an additional attack with a Plague Knife. So this means, so if you have 2 Plague Knives already, you get to 2 base attacks. This will take it to 3 base attacks, and then you can get 1 more for Hateful Assault.
And they're all plague weapons. So when you
So-
park it next to your Arch Contaminator, buddy.
Which is that's the dream Warlord trait, by the way, if you can't tell everybody.
Yeah. But by the fact that of the 9 we've talked about so far, 6 of them require Arch Contaminator for maximum chef's kiss.
That guy cannot die. Don't kill him.
Yeah.
So be careful with Arch Contaminator Boy, because he's real important.
He's precious.
He is precious to me. So that's really good. That's a lot of attacks rerolling to wound rolls. Or just on a normal Plague Marine squad, that means they go up to 3 attacks apiece instead of 2, which is nice.
Especially with plague flails.
Yep. It's also good.
Oh, no, because they have 2 knives.
Right, yeah, it only works on units with a knife.
Yeah.
Then we have Creeping
Don't they
Blight.
come with 1 base?
Yeah, they have 1 base.
And so then if you give it the plague flail, then you would be able to get your additional attack.
Well, you get 1 base, and then you get an extra 1 for Hateful Assault. That's all Plague Flails would get.
Yeah.
If I don't remember whether or not taking a Plague Flail removes your Plague Knife. If that's the case, then they would also get to stab once with their Plague Knife.
Right. No, I'm just trying to get as many D3s as possible out of these boys.
Right, yeah. So unfortunately, this doesn't stack with Plague Flails, which is probably for the best.
Wah, wah.
All right. Then we have Creeping Blight. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when a death card from a unit is chosen to fight with until the end of the phase. When resolving an attack made by a weapon in a model in that unit, add +1 to the damage roll, or the damage roll made for that attack. And unmodified wound roll of 6, AP goes to -4.
The Plague Flail does not replace her Plague Knife.
Oh, nice. So they also get a stab with the knife.
Yep.
That's cool. So Creeping Blight, man, is that good. Use that on Terminators to increase all the damage on their weapons to 2 instead of to 1. It also increases their Plague Flails to 3 damage, and that 3 damage carries over between models as well. So every time you get a wound through on a Plague Flail, it's like killing 3 dudes.
Yeah.
That's good. That's very good. Yeah, that's amazing. Then you have Warp Toll. Use the stratagem at the start of the morale phase. Select a Noxious Bitebringer model from your army until the end of the turn. When taking morale tests for an enemy unit within 7 inches, add 1 to the results. In addition, if that morale test has failed, double the number of models that run away.
I think this one's pretty good. I think even in the context of 8th,
I think it's not bad. Especially if you're comboing it up with like Night Lord stuff and that kind of thing. I think that's really powerful. It'd be interesting to see how this works in 9th edition. I feel like this one is going to be really good too.
Right.
And especially since you're going to see more Noxious Blightbringers, I think.
For sure. After
Because
some
that,
of the stuff,
5+ invulnerable save relic is really good. Next, we have Hyper Toxic Tinctures. So this is for a Plague Surgeon. This lets you reroll to wound rolls of 1 or 2 for Plague weapons for Death Guard units when they're within 6. So this is a good reason to take a Plague Surgeon model. You can upgrade all of your Plague Surgeons to have this if you so desire. Which is pretty good. Plague Surgeons, if you don't know already, they give you the ability to reroll 1s on Disgustingly Resilient within 3 inches. So this gives them a little bit of kind of like a mini Arch Contaminator to any of your squads.
So you maybe stretch out your forces a little bit more rather than having one murder ball.
Right. So like if you wanted to follow around your Demon Prince with a Plague Surgeon with the sword, so even against Toughness 5 stuff, he still gets to reroll all his wound rolls with that Relic Plague Sword. So that's pretty cool. You've got Noxious Rupture. Rupture.
We can call it Rupture. It's fine.
Rupture.
We'll FAQ.
Noxious Rupture. Use this stratagem in any phase other than the morale phase. When
That was a very hype reading of the start of that strategy.
I'm excited about it.
That's good.
I told you. When the last model of Death Guard unit from your army is destroyed, before removing that model from play, select one enemy unit within 3 inches until the end of your opponent's next turn. When resolving an attack made by a model in the selected unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So if they kill your last dude, you can just say, okay, well, guess what? That unit is -1 to hit. So that's pretty cool for 1 CP. That's not bad. And that lasts until when? Until the end of your opponent's next turn.
Yep, that's a long time.
Yeah, that's a long time.
1 CP.
That's cool because that just increases the toughness of your stuff even more. I think that's great. You've got Eruption of Filth. Use a stratagem when a Death Guard Terminator model from your army is destroyed or before removing him. Roll 1d6 for each unit within 7 inches of him without the Nurgle keyword. On a 4+, they take a mortal wound. Not super useful, but if you have like some characters at 1 wound or something like that, or like units that have 1 guy left, or you really want to just do like 1 more wound to bracket a vehicle, like all of that stuff, that could be really powerful. I think that's.
Like I said, I don't think it's going to be used often, but situationally, people who remember that it exists, are going to.
It'll be a tool in your box.
Right? Yeah.
Pun intended. Then we have Mutant Strain. So this is on Boxwalkers. When they're fighting against an infantry unit, if you roll a 6 to wound, they do a mortal wound. And the attack sequence ends. But if they roll an unmodified to hit roll of 1, the model's unit takes a mortal wound. So it's not bad. It definitely increases the output of your Poxwalker units against infantry units. And the nice thing too is that but when you're rolling ones, you're going to lose guys. And then when you're rolling 6s to wound, you're going to get guys back because you're killing them with the mortals. So you can kind of replenish your losses. So I kind of see this as not like the.
Can you decide the order in which you resolve the dice, or do they all resolve simultaneously?
Well, remember that like the to hit roll happens, then you resolve that.
Okay.
That effect. So your guys die. You take your saves, whatever. Right.
Yes.
And then you do your to wound rolls. So I think that just in the natural order of operations that this goes in, I think you get to like it's
Pretty
just
much a
gonna work
wash,
out.
right? And then this works really well with combat, obviously, with Typhus, who does his best work with Poxwalkers, but then also the new Harbinger of Nurgle stratagem.
Yeah.
Letting you reroll once to hit and negating some of those losses you might take.
For sure, right? I think that's great.
Yeah.
And Typhus is a Lord of Contagion, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he can get that stratagem.
Use Harbinger of Nurgle on him. I think that's great. Well, to be fair, I think just for the record, I think Typhus should already have that ability.
I think they should all have it inherently inbuilt, and I shouldn't have to pay a CP for it. But I'm glad that I get the option.
The option to
now.
do it at least. Yeah, I agree. All right, only 7 more, John.
Woo! Of the generic ones,
Right.
so much stuff.
And then 14 after that. No big deal. It's only 35 stratagems.
Yeah.
You have Miasmal Afflictions. So use the stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select an enemy unit within 1 inch of a Plague Marines unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, subtract 1 from the toughness characteristic of models in that enemy unit, whilst it is not within range of Mortarian's toxic presence. So they didn't want you to be able to double up a -2 toughness on stuff.
Right. Which you
But-
could have done really easily with that.
Totally. But that being said, this is supremely powerful for killing vehicles with your infantry units. Like Terminators, then that makes all their axes wound on 5s against, they were already wounding on 5s against toughness 8 stuff. But your strength 4 attacks will now wound on 5s, which is a big deal for your normal Plague Marine squads. I think that's really powerful. Or toughness 7 stuff will go to 6, and that means your flails will be wounding on 4s base. That's pretty nasty. So really good stratagem. 2 CP is steep, but it could be a game changer if you really need to kill that unit that you're in combat with. Then you have Overwhelming Generosity for 1 CP. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase when a Death Guard unit from your army, excluding Chaos Cultists or Poxwalkers, is chosen to shoot with. Until the end of the phase, add 6 inches to the range of plague weapons, excluding melee weapons, for models that unit are equipped with.
That is legitimately one of the most amazing stratagems in this book.
It's really good. They previewed this, right? And so,
Right. And especially combined with the base book stratagem of being able to throw blight grenades as 1 per person.
Yep.
So now you have your squad of, say, 10 Plague Marines.
Sure.
Throwing 10 D6 blight grenades 12 inches.
Yep. And so this ties off this like combines with making the plague grenade or the blight grenades hyper efficient with the what is that guy called? The grenadier guy.
Charles.
Biologist Putrefier?
Yes.
Yeah.
Charles the biologist.
So he makes your grenades +1 strength, +1 damage. So now they're strength 4. You give them full rerolls to wound because they're plague weapons with Arch Contaminator. You can give them +1 to wound with Veterans of the Long War. There's also the stratagem, or he also makes it so that if you roll 6+ to wound, they do a mortal wound in addition to damage. So now you're a 5+ to wound with that. You're re-rolling all failed wounds. Like you can do a lot of damage with your blight grenades with this stratagem combined. This also works really well with the flamer guy.
The Foul Blight Spawn.
The Foul Blight Spawn, yeah. So you can give a 15-inch flamer if you want to. Because he's a 9-inch range on his flamer.
Right. The only sad thing is you can't use it in the charge phase. So you can't increase your range for Overwatch.
That's true. But if they're charging from more than 9 inches away, they still have to make a 9-inch charge against it, which is
no problem for a lot of things.
for sure. Well, that's.
But at the same time, I'm glad they don't specify that.
Yeah, me too. Because that'd be
a little overly powerful.
Bad, just nuke somebody with one of him when
you're charging this unit. I'm going to throw 10 D6 grenades because you have to be within 12 inches.
Right.
Yeah, in retrospect, that's a really good decision design-wise.
Yeah. Or you can do 20 Plague Marines in a squad and throw 20 D6 grenades if you really want to kill all the things in the world.
Including my time clock.
Yeah. Fair point, John. Fair point.
Yeah.
Then you have Fire Fever. So this is for a Hellbrute model. After you chose how you want to split the shots of a Hellbrute model with 2 ranged weapons, which is every single Hellbrute, as long as you upgrade its fist to have bolters. Right? Mm-hmm. Until the end of that phase, if all the model shots and the weapons shoots all of its weapons at the same target, when resolving an attack made by that model, you can reroll to hit. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Just getting full rerolls onto hit rolls. I think that's pretty solid.
Hellbrutes.
And Hellbrute is the keyword Hellbrute,
Yeah.
not the word Hellbrute. So I think that works on Leviathans.
I'm not sure if they have the halberd keyword.
I'm pretty sure they
I can
got that added. I don't remember.
It's quite amazing if you do, because otherwise, regular halberds don't see huge amounts of play right now, sadly.
Yeah, that is sad. All right, then you've got Parasitic Fumes. So this is on a unit of Mephitic Blight Haulers. Until the end of the turn, when an attack is allocated on an enemy model within 7 inches of the unit, improve the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. So if you get close and you blast them close with a bunch of shots, they get an extra -1 AP, which is pretty solid. Especially since normal crack grenades are like, or crack rockets are no AP.
The no AP, yeah.
So making a -1 is good. It makes the Melta -5, so even 2+ armor saves don't get anything.
It does have the halberd keyword. That is disgusting, and I enjoy it greatly.
Yeah. Pretty cool. That's a good one. And it's only 1 CP too, so that's just kind of nice. Oh, it also affects their spits.
Yep.
So that's good.
Dislike.
Oh, and their close combat attacks. Because you use it at the movement phase, and it just, for the rest of the turn, all of their attacks. So even in close combat, they have -2 or 3.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Then you have Life Eater. Use the stratagem in the fight phase when a Death Guard unit from your army is chosen to fight with until the end of the phase. When resolving an attack made by a plague weapon, by a model in this unit, an unmodified 6 automatically scores a hit and automatically wounds.
I do enjoy this one. Like I said, I was toying with like a combo of like this one, the Life Eater, plus the Soul Harvest for the extra attacks against infantry. And then with the, which one was it there? There was another one that I went through on there too, to just kind of make this blendery demon prince go in. Like,
oh man,
going
spend
in
a couple of CPs and kill like 20 dudes.
Yeah. And like if you use the Relic kind of sword with Life Eater, then 6 automatically wounds. Because you don't even have to roll for it at that point.
And then you're going to get probably 1 or 2 extra hits / attacks.
Yeah. I think it's a little CP heavy, and like what I'm noticing from a lot of these things is mono Death Guard is going to have to be the way to go, and we'll go into this probably later, because you're going to want to do like a lot of these things
for sure. And so it might be a little bit harder to fit in stuff like the demon, like a demon detachment, to make them like a little bit spicier, but that's okay. All right, then we have Accelerated Entropy. This is for Plague Burst Crawlers with Entropy Cannons.
GW has not sold a Plague Burst Crawler kit in 3 years because everyone glued their Plague Spitters in place, bought 3 of them, and now they're okay again.
Guess what, boys? Things have changed. So the Entropy Cannons, so until the end of the battle, you pick 1 Plague Burst Crawler. Entropy Cannons for that model and all friendly Plague Burst Crawler models within 7 inches get the following ability. They get a Plague Weapon. However, they get to reroll 1s and 2s. Damage rolls of 1s or 2s count as 3 instead. So min 3 damage on D6 damage rolls.
Which is great.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
I still dislike that it hits on a 4. Currently, as of this edition, a 5 if you move.
And 9th, not so much.
Not so much, but still, it's pretty good. I know a lot of people are enjoying this one a lot and kind of going on about how they're going to build spearheads of these guys.
Cool.
I still believe the Spitter is a better choice of the 2.
Yeah. I think once you get locked in combat, like if that ends up happening, like the Spitters are going to be real gross.
But I definitely, what's nice is I see a place for Entropy Cannons now.
Oh,
whereas
yeah, for
before they weren't even a consideration.
I'm glad that they dropped their points in the last chapter, I believe, too, and we'll see if they change their points in 9th edition as well.
Yeah.
So the final one we have here, John, Contaminated Monstrosity. What do you think about this one?
I feel it will be FAQ'd very quickly.
Okay. I kind of agree.
Current state, use this stratagem before the battle. Select 1 Death Guard unit, excluding Chaos Cultists and Titanic units from your army with a wounds characteristic of 12 or less for 1 CP or 13 or more for 2 CP until the end of the battle. If that unit does not have Disgustingly Resilient ability, it gains a Disgustingly Resilient ability.
Right.
Now, what I'm reading for this is it allows my Hellbrutes, my Forge World Dreadnoughts, my tanks, my Defilers, all of those guys now get access to Disgustingly Resilient.
Right, like my Land Raiders.
Yeah. Rules is written. Any unit in the Death Guard book.
Right. Some of them don't have Disgustingly Resilient, like a Chaos Lord.
Chaos Lord, Chaos Sorcerer. Possessed. And this is where the game breaks a little bit. Is Possessed because they are a unit in the Death Guard Codex, fulfilling the first condition. They have a wounds characteristic of 12 or less, as they have 2 wounds each.
Yep.
For 1 CP, I can give that unit of Possessed, which Death Guard can already buff to High Oblivion and not let you even shoot at.
Right.
I can give them a 5-up Disgustingly Resilient.
Yep.
Rules as written, this is broken to the point where I made a Death Guard list today with Possessed.
I think it's really solid. Like, I can't wait to see how it ends up shaking out, because I think that, first of all, Death Guard Possession already get Disgustingly Resilient, so I feel like this kind of just enables you to play the army like it's supposed to be played.
But they should be more expensive.
It should definitely cost 2 CP to give you a unit of 20 Possessed.
Right.
Like, feel no pain.
Right, and we've seen that split CP throughout the rest of it.
I just thought that maybe they thought that it was going to be vehicle units only.
Right, which is, I think, the intent behind the rule is for vehicles. Right. I mean, I would love it if it was for Chaos Lords, because I think we've joked before, Danny, that once a Plague Marine like serves for long enough and shows his leadership skill, he gets a little better. By the fact he gets less tough and loses his disgustingly resilient.
They want to keep him around so the Plague Surgeon pump him full of penicillin, and then he's a little bit better, so he loses disgustingly resilient.
Yeah, when he gets over his cold, he gets promoted because of his amazing immune system.
Right.
But yeah, those are some amazing stratagems in there.
What a bunch of good ones. So there's some real standouts, I think, that are very powerful. But every single one of these is definitely useful, and ones that I can see using in any game that I play. Maybe not every game, but there's probably going to be situations where I would use any of these stratagems like pretty much all the time.
I think what's going to be super important is remembering all of these stratagems, because there's a lot in the Death Guard stratagems now that are incredibly situational. Like even the Death Guard Codex, there's a lot of very specific situational stratagems. And as a player, you're going to have to remember all of them. Because
welcome to Space Marines, John.
Yeah, I know. Before I only had to remember 7 stratagems, and it consisted of this tank automatically blows up.
Or Cloud of Flies.
Or Cloud of Flies.
Or Veterans.
But now, like I said, there's a lot of weird little ones that you can be able to like pull out at a moment's notice to really kind of gain that edge.
Man, but they're all fluffy. Like they all fit within the background. They're all really fun. I'm really happy that they exist.
Nothing seems overpowered, and a lot of the powerful stuff that you and I are talking about relates to a massive points investment. Or a massive CP investment.
Right.
So there's balance and there's trade-off from that.
Like none of these are 3 CP except for one.
Right.
Which is great. I think that's amazing. It makes me really happy. I think that you're going to be able to use a bunch of these, and Death Guard armies are actually going to have command points as well.
Right.
So I think that's really great.
All right. And now we're going to go and talk about plague companies.
Heck yeah.
7 different plague companies.
As you would expect.
As is tradition.
Right. So each of the plague companies has a specific warlord trait, a specific relic, and then 2 stratagems for each different one. And they're all pretty cool.
All right, review over. Great. We'll just call it good there. Yeah.
Done. Next song. All right, so we've got the Harbingers of the first one. This is the first plague company, and they're led by Typhus. So if the detachment contains Typhus, he also gets the Harbingers. And then Poxwalkers also get the Harbingers faction keyword, which normally Poxwalkers and I believe Chaos Cultists don't get.
Right, they don't. It's just the Chaos Space Marines themselves.
Right. The Plague Marines and all that, all their buddies. So the warlord trait is Shamble Rot. When an infantry model is destroyed by the result of an attack made by a melee weapon with this warlord, add 1 model to a friendly Harbinger's Poxwalker unit within 7. You have to pay reinforcement points for each model that goes above its starting count. Situational, probably not great. It'd be cool on a Demon Prince if you were trying to like regen your Poxwalker units, but I kind of don't see a bunch of really big Poxwalker units coming into being in play.
I guess the thing you have to ask yourself with all of these is it better than Arch Contaminator?
Right. Well, it doesn't have to be though.
Plus 1 CP for the additional one.
Is it worth a CP to pay for this?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. This definitely isn't the best part about the Harbingers. The best part comes in like the relics, and the stratagems are really good. So the relic is the Rot Skull Bomb. This is upgrades a Blight Grenade to become Grenade 2d3, which is better than d6, and it goes up to Strength 5 minus 2 AP 2 flat damage. It's a plague weapon, and you just hit. So it gives you a 6-inch flamer weapon. It's Strength 5 minus 2 AP 2 flat damage. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really solid. Then you've got 1 or 3 CP from the Carrion Heaps. They did preview this one, so I'm not going to go over it super hard, but it lets you deep streak deep strike 1 Poxwalker unit for 1 CP or 2 for 3 CP.
Which I think is really solid.
Yeah, man, it's awesome to
Because
just be able to, like, here's a screen.
You can deep strike them in, but then still chain them back, so they're still getting Typhus's aura.
Toughness, yeah.
So they're still getting other auras.
Yep.
Just you can really fill the board. Like with 2 squads of them for 3 CP, you place 40 models in the middle of the board.
So they're like, finally,
right.
I've killed all your screens. I don't have to worry about this stuff anymore. And you're like,
nope.
Psych, here's 20 Poxwalkers, and they're screening my Blightlord Terminators. So they're going to Cloud of Flies get bent. So pretty good. Then you have Life Beyond Death. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when the last model Harbinger's unit from your army is destroyed by the result of an attack. The unit that destroyed the model, that destroyed the unit, that contains the model that destroyed the unit, takes D3 mortal wounds.
I think that's really good. There's been times where you've had like maybe the enemy warlord or another important unit left with 1 wound, 2 wounds,
right.
And any little tools like this to help unlock yourself from combat are
Here's
huge.
what I'm thinking. Smash Captain comes in, kills your Plague Burst Crawler. You auto-explode and use this.
Yeah, of course.
2d3 mortal wounds. Done. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I mean, if he's taken like 1 wound, like you've got a good chance of just acing him right off the bat.
That's a really good combo for this too.
All right, then you have the Inexorable. So these guys are the second Plague Company. They like mechanized assaults.
Tank boys.
Yeah, tank boys. So let's see here. So the Warlord trait, when resolving an attack made by a weapon by a friendly inexorable unit within vehicle. Again, sorry. When you make an attack by a friendly inexorable unit against an enemy vehicle unit within 7 inches of the Warlord, improve the AP by 1. Not bad. And I think if 9th edition is going to go the way we think it is, I think there's going to be a lot more vehicles on the table. So I think that this becomes way more valuable. Then the Relic is the Leech Spore Casket. When a model is destroyed as a result of an attack made by a melee weapon by a model from your army with this relic, 1 friendly inexorable vehicle unit within 18 inches regains up to 1 lost wound. Each model from your army can regain up to 3 lost wounds per turn as a result of this ability. Man, that's a cool relic, actually.
Yeah.
So if you go into like a guard squad with like a Chaos Lord, you kill 4 dudes. You heal 3 wounds on 1 vehicle. You heal 3 wounds on another vehicle. This is really good on that Land Raider that you've given Disgustingly Resilient to.
Yeah. Just to block off table quarters.
Yeah, or John, or the Spartan, or the Land Raider Achilles. All of those are good choices for this. Then you have Unholy Essence. So this one's interesting. It gives up to, for 1 CP, use this at the start of the shooting phase. 3 inexorable vehicle units get the inexorable advance ability from Death Guard. And so what that is they get rapid fire up to 18 inches instead of 12. And they get ignore move and shoot penalties for heavy weapons and the assault weapon penalties as well. So we'll see if this becomes more valuable as time goes on. Right now, it's decent because it lets you like Plague Burst Crawlers count as not moving, or up to 3 of them for 1 CP instead of just 1 per CP from demonic vehicle. But in 9th, that probably won't be super good. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the Death Guard main rule will get changed. That would be fine. Then you have Ferric Miasma. And so when this uses stratagem in your opponent's charge phase, when an inexorable unit from your army is chosen as a charge target by an infantry unit, subtract 2 from the charge roll. That's solid. -2 to charge is really good.
Right. And right now through a crater too, it takes it a -4.
-4. Get out of here. No, I don't want to get charged. All right, then we've got the third Plague Company, Mortarian's Anvil. So these guys are about being tough. And they dig themselves in. They're like siege. Like they're kind of like the Iron Warriors of the
but better
Death Guard. Well, yeah, because they're Death Guard.
Yeah, and not Iron Warriors.
Not a bunch of whiny douches. Anyway, so the Gloaming Bloat is the Warlord trait. This basically gives your Warlord transhuman physiology. So a 1 through 3 always fails regardless of what you actually needed to roll the wound. So even if you have bonuses to wound or whatever else, doesn't matter. If you roll a 1 through 3, get out of here. You can't hurt my guy. Then you have the Tollkeeper Relic. This one's really good. So this is on a Tallyman model. And the Tallyman is a guy who refunds your CP and lets you re-roll to hit rolls in combat within 7 inches. So it's for a Tallyman only. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in a Mortarian's Anvil unit from your army within 7 inches of a model with this relic, an unmodified roll of 6 scores an additional hit. So you could combo this up.
So combos with Life Eater really well.
Yeah. That's what I was just going to. Just what I was going to say.
So it's 2 automatic hits.
Yep. Plus maybe a Death of the False Emperor.
Always. Hopefully.
Heck yeah. All right. Then we have, so this is a 3 CP stratagem for sure, maybe potentially, John. So this is Futility Made Flesh for 2 or 3 CP. Use the stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase when a Mortarian's Anvil Terminator unit is chosen as a target for an attack. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made with a weapon against that unit, reduce the damage characteristic by 1. If the unit contains 5 or fewer models, the stratagem costs 2, otherwise it costs 3. Gross.
That's always cost 3 CP because my giant Terminator unit, it doesn't give no shits about your shots.
Right. And so, okay, hot take.
Okay.
I don't think this one is super good.
Really?
Okay, so hear me out. I think it's in the shooting phase only, right? Mm-hmm. Why didn't you pay 1 CP for Cloud of Flies? I guess maybe if you could go first,
right?
And you haven't had a chance to put it up yet,
or if you want to Cloud of Fly something else.
That's true. Yeah,
so fair. You can Cloud of Flies Possessed.
And then behind the Terminators,
right? Hiding behind the Terminators that you're shooting at, and then if they're being shot by a storm cannon or something, that's only doing like 1 damage each.
Yeah, which you get to feel no pain against. Yep. Gross. All right, and then you have
Relaptic Assault.
Yeah, Relaptic. Interesting.
Prolapsed Assault.
Means. Yeah, Prolapsed Assault. They call this the Rosebud Assault. So use the stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. Select 1 Mortarian's Anvil infantry unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, that unit can perform a heroic intervention if they were a character. Man, they like to add this heroic intervention thing in there. So, you know what? That's pretty cool if they decided they were going to charge something close to your Terminator unit and they forgot that you had this and you're like, hey, want to see something cool?
Or even a Plague Marine unit.
Yeah, sure. With like some flails and stuff. Heck yeah. And then they still get Hateful Assault because they count as heroically intervening. So they still get an extra attack.
Yep.
And if they didn't charge the Plague Marine unit at all, they can't make attacks against them. Yeah, I like that. All right.
Just got to hide that Plague Marine unit out of sight, out of mind.
That's right. Just hide it behind a building.
Then YOLO through the wall. It's 8th edition. It's still cool.
Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah. All right. So we got...
the Wretched. Oh, no. Yeah, Wretched now, right?
Yeah, the Wretched. So the Wretched are the 4th Plague Company, and they are ruled over a Gestalt demon known as the Eater of Lives. So it's like, like a hive mind intelligence of a demon.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so they have the Eater Plague as their warlord trait. So keep in mind, every single one of these warlord traits, this is the fluff thing, and I don't know if you know this or not. Each one of their warlord traits is named after the plague that signifies that plague company.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's cool.
Each of these warlord traits is like the plague that they carry. So the Eater Plague, when enemy models are destroyed as a result of an attack made by a melee weapon by this warlord regains up to 1 lost wound, up to 3 per phase.
That's pretty good.
That's real good.
Yeah.
I think that's solid on like your Demon Prince.
Because it kind of takes away the need to take your little Nurgle battalion for the healing from that.
Yep. So that's pretty good. They use a lot of sorcerers too. I think that's part of what their deal is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, these are the guys with the summoning. These guys are cool. So their relic is the Demon's Favor for a malignant plaguecaster, which is their like special sorcerer. A model, so they replace the Pestilential Fallout with the following ability. And Pestilential Fallout is if you roll a 7 or more, they do 1 mortal wound to the closest unit within 7 inches.
Mm-hmm.
After resolving a psychic power manifested by that model, if this result of the psychic test was less than 7, the nearest enemy unit within 7 inches takes 1 mortal wound. In addition, if the result of the psychic test was 7 or more, the one enemy unit within 7 inches takes D3 mortal wounds. So if you smite somebody within 7 inches, and you get it off with a 7 or better, you're doing 2d3 mortals.
It also combos really well with the Putrid Fecundity.
It would, if you could take more than 1 relic.
Oh, that's right, because it is a relic.
Yeah, they're both relics.
Oh, man. Look at all this editing I'm not going to do.
That's fair. I thought the same thing. Well, I was thinking, I'm like, Because there's a relic in the Death Guard book right now that gives you +1 to smite.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, I can definitely do this.
Oh yeah, I can do that. And then I'm like, no, I can't.
Coaching service advice. Just cheap.
$97.99.
Just cheap.
Just go ahead and PayPal me right now. So the Rotted Veil. Man, John, you were excited about this one.
I was. This is the one, and I'm certainly not flipping a page to get to it right now. But the Rotted Veil.
You were there. You were there.
I was right there.
He's coughing. Uh-oh, John.
So the Rotted Veil, use the stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select one wretched character unit from your army that has not performed a demonic ritual this turn. This unit can perform a demonic ritual as if it were your movement phase and that model had not moved, regardless of whether or not it arrived as reinforcements that turn. In addition, until the end of the turn, when the unit performs a demonic ritual, roll only 1d6 for the summoning result. Add 7 to the result. This, if you build a list around summoning, is amazing.
So good. Because you get to use it after you moved. Or
Right.
Deep Struck.
Right. So if you look in, you can technically take your Demon Prince with wings,
Yeah.
move it 18 up the field,
Yeah.
use your summoning from the Rotted Veil to then place something power level 7 to 13
Right.
within 12 inches of that. With one model, you've pretty much claimed an entire section of the
Well,
board.
8 to 13, right?
Yeah, sorry, 8 to 13.
Yeah.
So, and then we were talking about it earlier, Beasts of Nurgle, like Danny and I's new
2
obsession,
each.
2 power level each.
Yeah.
So you are at minimum summoning 4 of them, and those guys are annoying as shit.
Yeah, because that's 20 wounds of toughness 5, 5+ invulnerable save, 5+ disgustingly resilient that you have to chew through before you can even touch that character.
Right. So I think this having a character you can just kind of, maybe if you have like an assault character, you can just throw up the field as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
He's providing his own screen at this point here because you are guaranteed to summon. And one, you're not going to perils either. There's no risk. You don't get the mortal wounds you would get for doubles usually from the summoning roll.
Yeah, you're never going to take damage.
So you're never going to take damage. You're going to get at least a unit of 20 plague bearers easy.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Right. So, I mean, you can jump up, create your own screen, and then next turn continue to jump up and on. Because there's not a lot, or you're going to have to dedicate a lot of firepower to get rid of 8 to 13 power level of Nurgle demons.
Right. Yes. Significant firepower to get.
So while you can't maybe pull in like a Great Unclean One or any of the bigger guys, you can pull in enough of the little guys to be annoying as hell.
Or even just 9 Nurgling bases.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be so annoying. I love it.
And then the last one here, this is and first of all, I just want to say, and I didn't say this before, but like all the stratagems that you use before the battle to give your units a buff, I think those are some of the most fun stratagems in the entire game. I think they're really cool. So this one is use this on a malignant or a psyker for the wretched, and he gets to re-roll one of the dice for any psychic test for 1 CP. So he re-rolls one of his dice anytime he casts a power.
Which is super good because
that's
if you think
good,
about
man.
if your Psyker, even if it just survives 3 turns, if you fail 3 powers, that's 3 CP you're burning to try and get powers off. Whereas this is like 1 CP done.
So I think these guys are really great for Possessed Bomb because the summoning is good for you to move to get stuff in front of your possessed, like to jump up like a Demon Prince and throw like put Cloud of Flies on your possessed, throw that Demon Prince up there, summon like a screen so that they have to get through that before they get to the possessed that are advancing.
Or even to bring in something like a Pox Bringer or some other buffing
sure.
character with the Locust. So
Sure.
you can get
he won't get the Locust, right? Because he has to come from a Nurgle Demon.
You're right. So never mind. Just have your Nurglings go up, have your Plague Bearers go up.
It could be a Poxbringer to get +1 strength to your possessed unit, which is great.
And it's ways of getting around the battalion tax, which Chaos players desperately need to figure out how to get by with only one detachment.
For sure. So that's great.
But I think, the Wretched are, I think, one of my favorites from this book.
They're very good.
But you have to build very specifically around it, and you need to leave a large chunk for summoning.
My favorite is Mortarian's Chosen, although the Pox Mongers, the one we're going to talk about right now, are pretty cool. But we'll talk about Mortarian's Chosen last. So the Pox Mongers, these guys are Demon Engine specialists.
These are the poster boys for this book.
I think that people love them.
the very popular one right now.
Right. So the Warlord trait is the Sanguinous Flux, so blood disease, right? When resolving an attack made by a melee weapon by a friendly Poxmonger's model against an enemy infantry unit while it's within 7 inches of the Warlord, improve the AP by 1. That's solid.
It's pretty good.
Yep. Then their relic is the Ironclad Furnace, and this one is what everybody's been raving about. Models in Pox Monger Demon Engine units from your army have a 4-up invulnerable save, whilst their unit is within 7 inches of a friendly model with this relic. Man, is that good.
It's really good. It sort of limits who it goes on a little.
Sure.
For me, it's great, but only on a Demon Prince.
So I agree with that. It depends on what you're using your unit for. So like if you have like an Arch Contaminator kind of warlord who's a support character, like a Chaos Lord or something like that you're just like hanging back, I can see it being something that you'd want to like advance him up with your or just like keep your vehicles back, like he's part of a gun line. I think that's probably fine. But that's only good on like the Plague Burst Crawlers. So if you're going to take Mephetic Blight Haulers and use it with that, or drones, I think the Demon Prince is by far the way to go.
Right. Because like if you imagine you have, and this is kind of some existing synergies of, you have the Great Unclean One with the Bell, following up behind a unit of Blight Haulers with a 4-up invulnerable. You now, good luck getting through those.
Oh, that's going to be a pain in the ass. Oh, yeah. They're going to be really hard to kill.
But I think, like I said, having it on a Demon Prince, having it be like keeping that 7-inch bubble as mobile as possible is really going to pay off.
In that case, you're 100% correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, I see your point, and I think maybe with the changes to entropy cannons from the stratagems,
that's viable. I don't know.
Then that's a viable kind of back gunline one. But I've only really had success with Plague Burst Crawlers playing them as aggressively as possible.
And that's how I've always played them as well. And that's been like the Flamers have been really handy.
So with the idea of playing them as aggressively as possible, and even screening for your other stuff through things like Cloud of Flies and things like that, just having a warlord or someone carrying that relic who can keep up. Maybe a Terminator Lord that can deep strike down to where you need him to be or something. But I think for just flexibility, Demon Prince is where it's at with this one.
I agree. All right, so we've got Billows Blood Rush. So use this on a Pox Monger's Demon Engine in your shooting phase. They can shoot and they can fall back and still shoot. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Especially on like a unit of Blight Haulers or something like that, or a Plague Burst Crawler that you kind of back out of combat.
Because you can run in, touch it, back out, multi-melta, crack missile it.
Yep.
It's
And then you've got the Flexibated, which is a 1 CP stratagem. Use this in the fight phase when an enemy model is destroyed as the result of an attack made by a model in a Pox Monger Demon Engine unit. One model in that unit regains D3 lost wounds. So that's pretty good on like Defilers. Oh man, I didn't think about Defilers with the Ironclad Furnace. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
might be something.
Most of these are pretty good for Defilers.
Yeah.
Defilers taking a big buff. Ironically, the picture in the bottom is of a Defiler.
I know. That's what made me think of it. I forgot that Defilers were a unit sometimes.
Yeah, it seems it's like the only Demon Engine, generic Demon Engine Death Guard got.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so that's a good one. So next we're on the Ferryman. The Ferryman, they're like shipborne Death Guard. So they're the Death Guard Marines. Wait, no. They're like the Death Guard Navy.
This is like holiday cruise lines.
That's how jolly they are.
And the Ferrymen are like the band that plays on Friday nights in the bingo hall.
They're really interesting. I think they have some really cool stuff. So they have their warlord trait is called the droning. So when a morale test is taken by an enemy unit within 12 inches, you add 2 to the result. So this kind of syncs up well with that stratagem from the what is that guy called? The Noxus Blightbringer or whatever.
Changing the to double the number of models flee if the test has failed.
Yep. And they're like, I don't know, you get to roll an extra dice or something. And then they have the Ferryman Scythe, which replaces a Plague Reaper, which is the axe that the Lord of Contagion carries. And which is weird because it changes an axe to a scythe.
It's a very special relic.
It's pretty cool. Anyway, so what this does is it gives his axe an extra +1 strength. It still maintains that spicy 3 flat damage. And it's a plague weapon, of course. And when resolving an attack made by this weapon, an unmodified wound roll of 6 does a mortal wound in addition to other damage. So that's a nice, solid melee weapon. Strength 8 on most characters. Like, it'll mess some stuff up. Then they had Vermin Whispers. So use this on a Ferryman Blightlord Terminator unit. is chosen to shoot with until the end of the phase. When resolving an attack made by this unit, add 1 to the hit roll. Oh yeah, I really like these guys.
Yeah,
I forgot how much I like this.
Hey, overcharging plasma guns.
Please don't overheat.
Yeah.
I don't want you to.
The rats whispering to the gun, stop it from burning.
Well, it could be any number of vermin.
That's fair.
It could be like flies or
Space rats.
or space rats.
I think Crud
Sure.
is the name of them.
What is that?
Crud is the name of the space rats?
Stop. No. And then they have On Joining Wings, a 2 CP stratagem used at the start of the movement phase. Select 1 Ferryman unit from your army. At the end of the phase, the range of that unit's aura abilities are increased by 7 inches. Man, that's cool. That is a huge boost.
Yeah.
That's a huge boost.
2 CP is expensive, but that 7-inch boost, that shuts down charges.
You can use that on the God. Why can I not remember the Foul Blight Spawn?
Yeah.
To increase his aura of strike last in combat
Right. Some
to
things count
14 inches.
inches.
Oh, gross.
You have a reroll aura?
Yeah, then that boosts that.
13 inches?
Yep. Now you can combo this up with Fugaris' Helm to increase auras by another 3 inches on that character.
Yep.
So you can be plus 10 inches to your aura. So you can have a 17-inch aura of strike last potentially. But you probably don't want to do that. That seems.
It's a lot of CP to just
lot of
really
CP.
piss off someone.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
if you're,
sometimes that's worth it. to
Maybe if
tilt
you're
it.
already winning and your opponent's just a real jerk.
That's true.
Yeah.
And usually they are. If you're not. All right.
Not to Danny's favorite.
So Mortarian's Chosen Sons is the 7th Plague Company. And so their warlord trait is Crawling Pestilence. When resolving an attack made by a melee weapon against this warlord, subtract 1 from the hit roll. When an enemy unit within 1 inches falls back, roll a d6 on a 2+. They also take d3 mortal wounds.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, don't fall back from me.
Yeah.
And also I'm -1 to hit. So suck on that. And their relic is Vomitrix, which is awesome. So this is for a Foul Blight Spawn. This relic replaces a Plague Spewer and has the following profile: 9-inch range, assault 7. So instead of d6 shots, it just does 7 shots. Strength is 7. And normally the his gun is strength 2d6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, d6 plus 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of an average strength value. AP -3, same. It does do 1 less damage, so it does 2 flat instead of 3 flat damage. It's a plague weapon, and it auto hits. I think it's an upgrade. I feel like it's really good to just get 7 hits every single time.
Right. Take some of the randomness out of it.
Yeah, and it's still a plague weapon, so you can still get reroll to wounds. That's very powerful. Then you have the Alembrical Narthicium. So this is for a Plague Surgeon. It's an upgrade that lasts the entire game. It, instead of Disgustingly Resilient being on rerolling 1s for Disgustingly Resilient, now you reroll 1s and 2s.
And this also combines really well with the stratagem
To give
of +1 to Disgustingly
Yeah.
Resilient. So that big old squad that you have
That's what I'm
is
talking
now a 4+ Disgustingly Resilient.
4+.
Rerolling 1s and 2s.
So that basically gives you a 3+ Disgustingly Resilient, more or less. That's what that does. That's really powerful. And then you have Plague Brewers. So use a stratagem in your shooting phase. And this is a 1 CP stratagem. Whenever they shoot, or for the rest of the phase, Plague Belchers, Plague Burst, or Plague Spurt Gauntlets, and Plague Spewers become damaged too. So this is like the Heavy Flamer or Flamer variants the Death Guard carry that are also plague weapons. Boosting them up to damage 2 is pretty darn cool. So yeah,
Classy.
man, they're good. That's a really versatile. That's a really versatile choice there. So, which is your favorite plague company, John? Do you still like the Wretched?
So yeah, I think honestly, like going through them all, like the Wretched comes up my favorite because what you can do with it. And
Yeah, there's a lot of tactical options.
there's a lot of tactical play to it. There's a lot of synergy. There's a lot of things, and it gets around. And again, in the whole preparing for 9th fun, gets around the detachment tax as I kick the camera again.
Yeah, I did it. Yeah, it's fine. So I like them all. You really have to build your army to kind of work with.
Right, and
these,
here's the thing: is like each of them has a very distinctive play style.
Yes.
like Mortarian's Chosen Sons really speak to kind of, to me, large units of ultra durable guys.
with flamers.
With
If you wanna
flamers.
take some flamers.
Right, and especially a lot of Foul Blight Spawn, so you can take full advantage of that one there.
Yeah.
Whereas I said the Wretched, lots of Psychers, lots of summoning, maybe like a quarter of your points left over for summoning things in.
Right.
because you're going to want to do that as much as possible. Because
They're called the Wretched because Mortarion hates them because they use sorcery.
because they're psychers like dicks. But at the same time, I really want to take Typhus's one as well. Like building around that, just Poxwalker words, the Harbingers, kind of really bringing me back to the start of 8th, where it was just like nothing but Poxwalker words everywhere.
Dude.
So there's a lot of play, but you really have to, like for me, you have to look at the company and be like, okay, this is how I want to play this army.
Right. But like it kind of further specializes the army, and I like that because you get to build the army the way you want to, and then you can play rules that like make your fluffy army better.
Right.
Which is awesome.
And I said the Pox Mongers are great. Ironclaw Furnace is great.
Yeah.
But 4-up compared to a 5-up save, it was, while it's good, the ability to just turbo fuck people with demons wherever I want them to.
That's fair.
Is just way funner, and also just successfully passing psychic tests and doing mortal wounds.
It's really powerful.
I mean, that's the thing, is like it's offensive versus defensive, and while like I don't want to see a parking lot, like I'm not a fan. We've talked about this before. I'm not a fan of parking lot lists.
Sure.
And the Poxmongers kind of speak to that a little bit, and if that's how Death Guard are going,
Unless you're gonna play them real aggressively, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
do that too.
yeah. But there's 7 different companies, 7 different ways to play.
And they're all pretty fun.
And last but not least,
Yep.
we have
Did you want to generate a name for your guy?
the name generator. Yeah, we
go
have
ahead.
to. I have like a dude here. 2741.
Okay, you can't pick 27.
Oh, 2147.
21. How about not a number with 7?
Oh, that's right. Because a D6 only has 6 sides. 46. 2146.
So 21. Oh, John, come on, man. Wagon. Wagon.
Wagon.
How about wagon? I'm going to call him that.
Wagon Pustular.
Is it pustular?
The Pustular, yeah. There's a lot of the names, like the Rotted, the Jovial, the Putrid, the Seeping. I could be like
The repugnant.
Krawgax, the Repugnant.
Or how about Kralgax the reeking? I like it.
Flagon, the Ruptured. Sounds painful.
Oh, and here's a new spicy thing that they put in here, right?
Yeah, here's an entire new legion. Called Creations of Bile.
Yes.
Fabius Bile getting an upgrade in model rules and followers.
Right. And his new rules are fantastic. I think he's great. First of all, he's a real big boy.
He
as
is.
you can see in this picture here, like look at him compared to this Chaos Sorcerer. Like he's tall. He's lanky.
He's tall. He's lanky. I put the
Genetically
kit together
modified.
today. It's an amazing kit to put together. Real well.
He's about to capture the Sister of Silence right here.
Like this little panel here. That is a separate piece, and it just
cool.
it glides together. It's a beautiful model, and it will stand out. Plan on covering it in foam and insulation though, because man, that backpack.
Oh, it's pretty spindly.
Yeah, that's very spindly.
Hey, I like this right here, John. This is what I was looking at. Boom, boom. Look at that. He's got the obliterator right there, ready to go.
Yeah.
He knows what's up.
Oh heck yeah, he knows his rules.
Does he, though? He probably does. Okay. So, Creations of Bile. So you can take a detachment and make them Creations of Bile if Fabius Bile is your warlord. He does have to be your warlord in order for you to use this Legion trait. And what this does is it gives all characters, infantry units, biker units, and Helbert units the creation of Bile, or the Legion trait, experimental enhancements. Experimental enhancements gives everybody +1 movement, +1 strength. Man, that's good.
Yep. I think we were talking to Steven as a Lord Discordant.
Yeah. The Lord Discordant, if you take the Hellstalker pack with this, is like so good. Now, one thing to remember, you're only going to get 1 detachment of Creations of Bile, so use it well.
Yes. You have to be very there's a lot of
Selective.
competition for the slots
I think so.
coming out of this year. So
Maybe take a brigade if you're going to do that. Like if you can afford to do that, that might be worth it. Anyway, so fabulous Bill.
fabulous.
He is fabulous.
Had some changes.
He did.
He skipped arm day.
Yeah, he did. He's still a 2+ weapon skill though, so he knows how to punch. So he is movement 6. He's a 2-up weapon skill, 3-up ballistic skill, strength and toughness 4, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9, and he has a 3+ armor save. So he's equipped with the Zykos Needler, the Rod of Torment, and the Surgeon, as well as frag and crack grenades. The Zykos Needler is an 18-inch pistol 3 weapon that is strength 2, -2 AP, and 2 flat damage. And unless you're attacking a vehicle or Titanic unit, it always wounds on a 2. Nice.
Which, yeah, Tau stealth suits are they monsters?
Right. I don't care.
Riptides are monsters?
Yeah. Or just even crisis suits, which don't fall into normal categories. Still does 2 flat damage to them. His Rod of Torment is his melee weapon. It makes him strength 5 with -1 AP and does D3 damage unless he's attacking a vehicle unit, and then it only does damage 1. And his Surgeon gets 3 extra attacks at strength 4 -2 AP. So he's got, like, on the first round of combat, like, I don't know, 8 attacks. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. So he gets Death of the False Emperor. Oh, he does not get Hateful Assault. Interesting. I wonder if that's a rule that
I'm going to say that's an oversight.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's probably going to get Hateful Assault. Anyway, so he has another pair of hands. Oh, and he's also, you can pay so he's 85 points. You can pay an extra 5 points to take the Surgeon Acolyte, which is a little glandhound guy that follows him around.
Please never use the term glandhound again.
Well, just wait and read the book, John, and you'll know glandhounds are awesome. All right. So he's like toughness 4 as 1 wound. But the nice thing about him is he just joined with a unit with Fabius. So we can take that las cannon hit for Fabius if you really need him to. So if he's accompanied by the Surgical Acolyte, you get to roll. You get to add plus or minus 1 to the D3 roll that you do for his enhanced warriors, which is still the same. So +1 strength, +1 toughness, or +1 attacks for the whole unit at the end of the movement phase. So you just pick a Heretic Astartes unit and give him a bonus. So it's pretty cool on stuff like Mutilators, or Khorne Berserkers, or even just normal Chaos Space Marines. Take him up to toughness 5 or give him an extra attack or an extra strength value. Because keep in mind, with his Legion trait, you can buff them up to strength 6 for normal Space Marines. And then you roll a d6, and on a 1, you lose a model. So you could always reroll that if you want to. Then he also has the Surgeon. So when Fabius Bile would lose a wound, roll a d6 on a 5+. He doesn't lose it. In addition, at the start of each of your turns, he regains D3 lost wounds.
That's really good.
Yeah, so he's, I would say, decently hard to kill, although he doesn't have an invulnerable save.
Oh no.
Yep, which is harsh, but that's okay. So his ability Enhanced Warriors, the one we just talked about, where he can increase the stats of another warrior unit, is not Legion locked. So you can use it on allied detachments of other units. So you can buff Thousand Sons or Death Guard units.
I was going to say T6 Plague Marines.
Yeah, or T6 Plague Terminators.
I think you'd even probably get up to T7. I don't know why you would at that point, but you can.
Dang it, you can.
Heck yes.
So he's decent, and he's a good buy at 90 points. He's pretty inexpensive. So I think he's a pretty good warlord choice. Then you have Relics of Bile. So Bile gets 3 relics, and he also gets 8 stratagems, which is just as many as the other Traitor Legions get in the
he's a big boy.
Faith and Fury.
He gets his own little Traitor Legion.
Yeah, he does.
Much.
He's his own little Traitor Legion. So he gets the Helm of All Seen. So this is a relic that you can give to a character, and you get to see 5+ command point regeneration. And yeah, each command point you spend on stratagems. So that's pretty good. He's got the Hyper Growth Bolts. So you can pick like a combi bolter, a bolt pistol. Instead of shooting the normal shot, you can choose to you shoot a bolt of your flesh at them or something, or you shoot like an arm spike that goes out of your arm.
Cut off a little ward or something.
Yeah, like you load your finger up into the bolt pistol and shoot that at them. Anyway.
Literal finger guns.
Pew pew. It makes the shot -2 AP. And does wounds on a 2+, or is it a -2 AP? No, sorry. It just wounds on a 2+ unless it's a vehicle, and is damage 4.
That in itself is great for just getting rid of little characters.
Oh, for sure. All they have to do is fail an armor save.
Right. And especially if you're in combat.
Yeah.
and you fire your bolt pistol, which everyone
that's
has.
true. I didn't even think about that.
Right.
That's true.
So if you're like locked in combat, you shoot your little bolt pistol because there's that stratagem in the regular Chaos Space Marine book for your bolt pistol too, right?
To do
D3 for that
Demon
one, right?
Shell?
Yeah, Demon Shell. Whereas this one is like a better Demon Shell.
It can be, yes.
It can be with like just a flat 4 if you fail that save. A lot of minor buffing characters like your lieutenants, warlocks, things like that are just straight gone.
Dead. And then they have the Living Carapace, and this one lets you regain a wound at the start of your turn, and also you get +1 to your armor saves, not invulnerable saves. So that's really solid. I mean, those are all decent relics. I really like the Helm of All Seeing. That's pretty powerful. The Hypergrowth Bolts are pretty cool too.
Again, I think they're more situational, but the Helm of All Seeing, really good.
Yeah, it's really good. That's a good choice all the time. All right, so he's got 8 stratagems. All of these, so most of the creations of Bile stratagems work best on infantry units. So you have Venomous Claws. Let's see here. So this means anytime you use this in the fight phase on a creations of Bile units. This one does not have to be an infantry unit, so it can be a Hellbrute or something if you want to. An unmodified hit roll of 6 automatically scores a hit and wounds the target. So that's good. Just like several of the other stratagems in this book, you're seeing kind of some themes here for repeated stratagems they know aren't totally busted.
I like the use of the word unmodified becoming more and more into play.
Yeah, I think it's good. And it makes the modified ones, like the 6+ things, they seem more valuable.
Yeah.
All right, and then you have Monstrous Visage. So use a stratagem at the start of any phase. Select one Creations of Bile infantry unit from your army, except for Chaos Cultists, until the end of the turn when resolving an attack made by an enemy model within 6 inches of the unit. Subtract 1 from the hit roll. So if you get too close, they make spooky faces at you and you get scared. That makes sense.
Thank you. Glad they shall know no fear.
Spooky.
Unless it's spooky face.
Spooky face. No, I said never to do turtle face to me again. So
Fabius Bile turning into the clown from It and just scaring the shit out of some dark angels.
There you go. Yeah. Then you have Macro Tensile Sinews. So use a stratagem at the start of the movement phase. Select a Creations of Bile infantry unit from your army. Until the end of the turn, they can be chosen to charge with even if they advance, and they get +1 to charge.
Hey, Corn Berserkers.
Oh, and advance, both advance and charge get +1. That's cool. Yeah, that's so good for Corn Berserkers or Mutilators.
Yeah.
Then you have, because remember too, these guys get like warp time and stuff like that too.
Oh, yeah.
So they get an extra advance roll.
Making Mutilators great. That's what I do.
Solid. Then you have the Master is Watching. So use the stratagem in your shooting or fight phase when a Creations of Bile infantry unit is visible and within 12 inches of your warlord is chosen to shoot or fight with. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, you can reroll its hit roll. So you get full rerolls on a unit to hit. That is so good. Like, I was talking to John. I'm like, man, how cool is it that you can just bring down a unit of obliterators next to Bile and just be like, okay, cool. These guys get to reroll their hit rolls. I don't care about anything else. Like, I don't even have to use Abaddons for this. I can just use Fabius Bile.
Right. And then you have, like, in the 5 phase, Possessed as well.
Yeah. Rerolling to hit rolls on Possessed.
Rerolling to hit rolls.
Sure. Or Berserkers.
Havocs.
Or whatever else.
Oh, yeah. Cannon Havocs. Yep. There's a lot of play for that. That's one. And 1 cool. CP.
Yep. Oh, yeah, and keep in mind for the Macro Tensile Sinews, too, they're getting +1 movement already. So, like, the Mutilators are what, movement 6?
4.
Oh, yeah, so they're 4 base, so they go to a 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's an extra thing that they get.
Ooh, they're trying.
Oh, they're trying real hard. Yeah, so Fabius Bile can boost Possessed to strength 7.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Really easily.
That's real gross. All right, then you have Dermal Chitination, or Chitination. Sorry, Chitination. Use this stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase when a Creations of Bile unit from your army is targeted. Add 1 to the unit's toughness. Cool.
It's okay.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
You can get those obliterators up to toughness 7.
But is there going to be like a huge difference? Well, it's between 6 and 7. Well, I guess like the dearth of autocannons and things that we're seeing coming out of like Primaris.
Mm-hmm. Or like 6 and 7 is probably not huge.
Right.
You're right. All right,
like between 4 and 5, though, if you get shot by Bolcons,
sure,
then that helps. Or even if you do Plague Marines, going up to toughness 6 from toughness 5.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you can take Plague Marines with him as well. That's neat.
It's just as elite choices.
Yep. All right, then you have Taken Alive. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when a model from an enemy unit is destroyed as the result of an attack made by a melee weapon by a model from a Creations of Bile infantry unit in your army. That's a lot. So basically, if you kill a dude with your Creations of Bile infantry unit from a squad, then you can use the stratagem.
Yeah, they're wordy, the Bile stratagems.
For the rest of the battle, when taking a morale test for the enemy model's unit, each model in that unit that was destroyed counts as 2. You can only use the stratagem. Each enemy unit can only be affected once.
I really hope this was written with 9th in mind.
Yeah, I really think it is. It seems like it could be really good. But right now it seems like not great.
No. You know what does seem great?
What's that?
Supreme Creations.
Yeah, this seems really awesome. So use this before the battle. Choose one Creations of Bile character model from your army that is not Fabius Bile. You can give this model one of the abilities from the list below. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. +1 strength and toughness. Add 1 to charge and advance rolls. In addition, when it's making a charge roll, was charged or perform heroic intervention, add 1 to the model's attack characteristic. And then you have Ravenous Biology. When this model would lose a wound, roll a d6. On a 6, it's not lost. In addition, at the end of the fight phase, this model regains d3 lost wounds if any enemy models were destroyed within 1 inch of them. Those are all awesome.
Yep. I instantly in all of these just go to Disco Lord for most of them.
I think that's pretty good with the Disco Lord.
But there's other things. I think Master of Execution benefits from this.
Yeah. Greater Possessed. That could be really cool.
Yeah,
Master Execution is really good with this stuff though too, because he becomes like strength and toughness 5, or +1 to advance and charge rolls.
Right, which if you combine with the Macrotensile Sinews, gets him +1 to advance. So he's just
+2.
He gets
to advance and charge rolls.
Right,
and can advance and charge.
Right, so he is just kind of scooting around.
And an extra attack, so he gets like 7 attacks, John.
Right, it's like 2 CP.
That's spicy.
But that low Master of Execution is in your deployment zone turn 1.
Yeah, but the nice thing about Supreme Creation is it's just like a one and done upgrade for the whole game, so you get it anyway.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Creations of Bile stuff is really good.
They did a lot more than I thought they would with them.
Yeah. I'm surprised how much stuff he got. The other thing I was surprised on is he doesn't count as being a Renegade chapter.
Nope.
So you still get Veterans of the Long War with him too, which is money. That's so good. Yeah, I think he's one of the better guys to take Obliterators with.
I think any foot heavy dark chaos list is really good. He's under
like
Bile.
You want to take infantry heavy with Bile for
like
sure.
You don't want to take a bunch of Mauler Fiends, Forge Fiends, stuff like that, or any kind of tank. But if you have a lot of foot troops, like Khorne Berserkers and Bile, amazing.
Agreed.
Obliterators with Bile, amazing.
Right.
Some of the lesser characters, like I said, the Master of Execution.
I was even thinking Terminators with him would be good.
Yeah, like so there's a lot of good stuff there, and it's definitely something I want to run. Like I said, I wasn't planning on picking up Bile, but after kind of reading the rules, I gotta have him, and yeah, it's definitely a great model, and it's a different way for Chaos to play,
for sure. And like that makes me really happy to give a codex that maybe didn't have as many options a few more options. I think that's really solid.
Because the Agents of Bile right now completely different build, I think, than how a lot of people outside of maybe 1 or 2 people in a local meta, Joe, play Chaos.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, super exciting.
To see what is his. He is the Lord of Terror Warlord trait.
Yeah, that's the bad thing. You are locked into one Warlord trait, which you can't change.
Yeah, it's pretty bad too.
But I think a lot of the stratagems make up for it.
Oh, for sure. I think, yeah.
And the relics as well. And you're going to want to have as many command points as possible. So having that relic to refund.
The 5 regen. Because you're going to be wanting to like be boosting your creations all the time. And doing the reroll in the movement phase for what the effect of his upgrade is, I think is really
and even just making all of your units advance and charge.
Yeah.
Like so it's a CP hungry army. Thankfully that's less of an issue in the future, but right now this is great. I love that some of the stratagems aren't specific to Fabius Bile or Agents of Bile. So maybe you can get that Red Corsair battalion in there too and kind of boast those guys. It opens up a lot of different ways to play.
Yes.
Sorry, so it's like you look deep in thought.
So I was thinking about 9th edition and how things work, but I guess we'll have to see how the Red Corsair Legion trait works with taking
of the free battalion. Yeah.
because they get like a bunch of extra command points if you take a battalion with 3 Chaos Space Marine troop choices. So that offsets the cost of another battalion.
Right. So I think the combo of that and Agents of Bile is going to be a really nasty
That could be really
list.
solid. Yeah.
But yeah, I really love the way it plays.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So that is our review of the Chaos side of the Spider side.
The Spider side. We've reviewed the War. Now we're reviewing the Spider. I think this is one of my favorite Psychic Awakening books.
I think,
I think it takes a bunch of a couple of factions in Custodes and Death Guard who were so close to greatness, and really helps push them over the edge. And I'm a large fan of the changes they've done and also the choices that have been given for those factions.
For sure.
Different ways to play for each company through each branch of the police that the Custodes are.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
It's
if you're a prison guard or a postman or...
While obviously there's going to be like a couple of really strong lists off the bat. Honestly, if I know I'm playing Death Guard, I don't know what I'm playing right now.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of good options. I said I'm excited to get my Wretched started. And I said I honestly think that's where my build is going, just because the flexibility of here's Plague Bearers or here's this then or here's that is going to be huge.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where everything goes. This is a great book, and I think it's a great addition to the meta, and it shakes some stuff up. Death Guard definitely got a huge bump in power.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see what people come up with and play against like some of these crazy lists. All right, so if you enjoyed this, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Even if you didn't, you don't have to watch it. Just
fine.
Yeah, get me a stupid little play button.
There you go. Love it. And then if you extra enjoyed our banter, check out our podcast, Mob Rolls.
Yeah.
We run it every couple of weeks, and I think we're delightful.
Oh, we are delightful and charming.
Yeah.
And most importantly, humble.
Very humble. Like the most humble you've ever seen in your life. All right. So I've been Danny.
I've been John.
Thanks for tuning in.